I have a gift with words. I call myself a word painter and a quirky writer. Link up with me to produce authentic and inspirational content or copy. When I joined Rematania in November of 2021, my life was at a very difficult crossroads. I could hardly speak about my personal circumstances, but I found myself desperate to test my ability to re-enter the job market. At age 50, it was quite a difficult transition to make. Although I had a good tertiary education and held a middle management position for 14 years in government, the last time I officially worked was 2007. So since 2007, my life has been dedicated to raising my children. I did various volunteer jobs, especially at our local primary school, and for me it was very fulfilling. I coached various sports, helped with cultural activities, and I made my mark as a very involved parent. So therefore, I had much confidence in my skills and abilities, but I had no clue how to translate these skills into anything that could generate some kind of income. So the moment I typed in working online, I came across a YouTube of Mariana and Rematania. I was skeptical, to say the least. The fact that this woman spoke in an Afrikaans accent was the only thing that swayed me to attend the webinar and thereafter take the strategic call. One thing that I knew about myself was that I was definitely not vigilant and knowledgeable about the internet. I barely had a Facebook profile. I think there was 2 postings in 20 years. And I was really terrified of being scammed out or conned out of my money. I also had a mindset, if I'm very honest, that what I needed to be successful online, I could do by myself and probably for free. I wanted a guarantee, which I now understand no one can give you. And although I possessed the necessary skills required to make a success online, it was up to me to put in the hard work and make things happen. I took the leap and I signed up with Rematania. I wasn't even sure what I wanted to do, but I've always loved to write, and I felt as if this was one of my talents that was buried under the bucket. But despite this feeling, I did not know if anybody needed my services and if I could even do something worth $1 or $2. Although initially I thought I was computer literate, I've soon found out how out of date my skills were, especially with regards to the online world. I definitely had no idea of the opportunities that was available online, but I also did not know how to distinguish between something worth pursuing or money pits. Everything in the online course was confusing to me. I did not understand most of the terms that was used during the group discussions. More often than not, I would Google basic concepts that I think most other people understood. I barely knew what a URL was, but I decided to get value for money. I would ask, even if I had to ask the stupid questions. I know people say there isn't something like a stupid question, but for me that's a bit up for debate. So in the beginning, the Q&A sessions felt a little bit over my head, but in time I started picking up on some valuable pointers. It steered my head in a new direction. Google became like a daily companion, but the program gave me the confidence to start exploring and to try out new things. It was also very helpful that Mariana pointed out what could be loopholes, what kind of situations to avoid, and where to subscribe or not to subscribe. I was completely oblivious to the dangers of the online world, and I'm sure by being part of Rematania, it saved me some heartache and a few dollars. The learning curve was steep. I often solicited the help of my teenagers to navigate this foreign online world. During this time, I made friends with one of my fellow Rematanians. The relationship became a lifesaver. We practiced everything with each other. Even setting up a Zoom meeting was something completely new to me. I found a fellow pilgrim on the road to success. I did not compete with this incredible woman. I wanted to define my journey and my own success. When I started joining the active freelancer discussion, it made me a bit braver and more prepared to venture into looking for actual clients. Getting some pointers about setting up your profile and how to write a pitch was invaluable. I also think I needed a bit of a push to start implementing instead of sharing my philosophies. To this day, I do not know exactly how to define myself. I just love to write, and I love to tell stories. I know that I have a quirky sense of humor, and I pride myself in the creation of original content. You would never need to check me for plagiarism. I'm too much of an individual to copy what others have said. My head is full of thoughts that I long to share. I write a little tongue-in-cheek. I do not pretend to be an expert in SEO, but I'm good at research. I can be very factual, if needed, or I can take 100 rabbit trails to get to the conclusion, depending on what the client wants. I call myself a quirky writer. Put me to the test on that one. I managed to put together a basic profile for the online platform Upwork, and I got it approved, but I had no idea how to pitch or how to find work. Also, it was my first time writing. How would I convince a client that I have something to offer and show them the quality of my work? I had no great references or previously published articles. I had many unanswered questions. For example, what rate should I offer? How would I know if a client is legitimate? How does one deal with a difficult, unreasonable client? I got answers to all of these questions and much more. So my first clients were fellow Rematanians, $5 contracts. I also worked as a subcontractor for more than one Rematanian, which boosted my earnings and my confidence. One colleague introduced me to one of her clients for social media work, and our relationship has since evolved into a steady contract where I write 2 to 3 articles per week. The owner of this channel allows me a lot of artistic freedom. We have recently renegotiated my rates, and I feel much more valued as, dare I say, a writer. So breaking into the world of writing was no easy task for me. I worked for rates of $11 per hour, and I wrote scripts of 1,800 words for a YouTube channel for $15. It was hard work, but everything that I was paid for gave me some confidence. My payment schedule was set for $100. It was a huge achievement the day my first payment landed in my bank account. I started pitching for jobs that required me to take a leap and to believe in myself. I pitched for a job writing about the comparing of office chairs. I even told the guy that I knew nothing about chairs, but that I could write. And this contract paid $30 for every 1,000 words. So then I pitched for another client, and we got off to a good start. But then she was not happy with the work I did for her. I was willing to make revisions until she was happy, but she just paid me and she ended the contract. A public rating was a 5-star, but she ended up not recommending me for any other work. My Upwork ratings fell to 93%. Luckily, I saw very successful people with 90+ ratings that also somehow lost their perfect scores. In the beginning, I was so desperate for work that I did things that in hindsight I should have passed up. I even took a detour into marketing, but despite me being multifaceted and having the ability to learn, this detour derailed me from pursuing my writing. It slowed down my progress and it made me lose focus. I guess lesson learned. Some of the jobs I take on are a bit silly, but it pays the bills. My ideal writing contract still has been eluding me, but I know at the right time it will come. I strongly value the relationships and the support that are entrenched in Rematania. They are amazing people who really want others to succeed. A substantial amount of work that I've done in the beginning was done with and for fellow Rematanians. This was a very safe space to make mistakes, and believe me, I did. Also to get honest feedback and to better the way I market and present myself to potential clients. I definitely define success differently. The amount of money I made online was something I would not have imagined. I've surpassed my own expectations, but the bigger part of what I would call success was the fact that I was paid for something that I was never formally trained in. I'm cut out for a portfolio career. I want to continue writing with a focus on topics like marriage, relationships, raising children, those type of things, all from a strong biblical perspective. I also have a vision to write my own book of a very personal nature, but there are still some events that have to fall in place. And also, I'm a counselor at heart. I know I'm dragging my feet a bit, but I want to continue helping people with personal struggles to heal and to reach their full potential. I've been doing Christian counseling for many years, but I struggle to charge for this service. I will also never stop doing volunteer work. I've been doing some motivational speaking in my area, and to me that's very satisfying. I support a local children's shelter, and I want to spend more time with these kids. And then finally, there's a part of me that loves to create, and I want to start a clothing line with my own designs. I've been making my own clothes since I was about 10. For the time being, it's a single item here and there for another person, and my 3 girls think that I am their personal tailor. I have to improve my time management and to stop my procrastination in order to implement this dream. I'm also guilty of not submitting enough new proposals. My personal circumstances are still not completely sorted out. With many ifs and whens, it's sometimes hard to make decisions. But for the time being, what I'm doing online is quite satisfying. I am functioning far beneath my potential, but for the moment, I'm content.